I think most people can make a sandwich and enjoy a sandwich. But buddy, what about a dessert sandwich?
Good evening. How are you? Papa's little baby. Today we'll be reading a story from my book. Doesn't even work. Why does that?
Okay, so today we are making the coveted ice cream sandwich. Two different ways. We're making the classic one, the one that we've all seen with the two chocolate rectangles and then ice cream rectangular prism in between those two, sandwiched beautifully. They're soft, they're chocolatey, and for some reason you can eat like 12 of them in one sitting and you're completely fine. I don't know what it is, some sort of magic portal of calorie consumption. And the second one is gonna be an even more calorie and dense decadent version, which we'll see at the end. And brother, we're making all this from scratch as usual. We're gonna make the ice cream, we're gonna make the cookie base, the cookie to put together. See where I'm going with this? Now with all that said, let's make this, shall we? Okay, we're doing this right. First, we'll make our salted butter chocolate cookie ice cream sandos, which are based off the ones that you buy at the grocery store. You know, the ones that never seem satiating enough so you eat like 5 of them. And after that, we'll have an ultimate chocolate chip cookie ice cream, basically a burger at that point. Now to make our freezer section version, we need our cookie base. Get yourself a medium pot and fill it with just about 1 inch of water. Bring that water to a boil, then reduce to a light simmer. Place a heat-proof bowl on top of that and add 2 cups or 315 grams of semi-sweet chocolate, 1 cup or 227 grams of salted butter, yes, salted. Let that heat and melt while stirring occasionally until completely melted and homogeneous. Pull that off the heat and whisk in 1 cup or 210 grams of granulated sugar, 2 whole eggs, 1 egg at a time, plus 1 egg yolk, 2 teaspoons or 6 grams of vanilla extract. Give that some whiskey business. Till thoroughly combined, then in a separate bowl add 2 cups or 300 grams of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of baking soda, 2 teaspoons or 5 grams of espresso powder, half a cup or 60 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder. Whisk together till combined. Now just stir your chocolate mixture into your flour mixture and mix together until you have a lovely firm dough. Get 2 baking sheets that have been heavily greased and edge to edge lined with parchment paper. Really be sure to grease this whole darn thing. Plus the parchment. Now divide that little poopy baby man into 2 even pieces and just press those guys down to fill out the entire rimmed sheet. Don't you go and flip out on me while you're doing this. It's gonna take a minute or two. It might not seem like enough, but I assure you that if evenly pressed, it will fit the whole thing to the appropriate thickness. So calm down, buddy. Once that's pressed, pop it into an oven set to 350 Fahrenheit and bake for 10 to 12 minutes. Then pull it out, let it cool for 12 to 15 minutes on a wire rack, then pop it into the freezer for at least 15 minutes and up to 2 hours. Now while that's getting chilled, let's talk ice cream. That came out wrong. Let's make this simple. You can use any ice cream on this channel, but I might as well just show you a quick and easy vanilla bean ice cream. In a medium pot, add 3 cups or 700 milliliters of whole milk. Add the beans from 1 whole vanilla bean pod. Begin heating that over medium heat, stirring occasionally. Then while that's heating, in a bowl add 4 egg yolks. Then mix in 1.5 cups or 260 grams of granulated white sugar, so you sort of get a sandy egg mixture. Boy, that sounds gross. Once your milk is hot and steamy, but not boiling, begin whisking in small ladlefuls of your hot milkies into your yolks until the yolk mixture is hot and liquidy. Then pour that back into your pot and continue heating and stirring over medium heat, making sure not to boil and not to simmer, because if you simmer, I don't even know. I guess I know geese. Just until it begins to thicken. It'll take about 5 to 7 minutes. Now just strain that mixture into a bowl set over an ice bath and cool it down. Finally, mix in 3 cups or 700 milliliters of heavy whipping cream, and that's your custard base. Now, all you need to do is pop that into an ice cream maker, churn according to the manufacturer's directions, and you have your ice cream. Let me just explain something real quick. When you have fresh churned ice cream, right when it's done, it's still kind of soft and pliable, which is ideal for the next step. But if you don't want to make your own, be sure to put any store-bought ice cream into a stand mixer or some sort of a mixer to beat it up and soften it to a spreadable but not melted consistency. Anyway, pull out your cookie base and spread on a half gallon of ice cream, whether it's your own or store-bought. Then carefully remove your other cookie base and invert it to place atop the other one. Press that down firmly, then place your other baking sheet on top and leave in the freezer to press for 4 hours or overnight. Now from there, all you gotta do is pop it out, remove the parchment, trim the edges nicely, and cut into even rectangles. I would say something that's about 2.5 inches by 4 inches will create the proper shape. Reminder, you only have about 5 to 10 minutes before these begin to turn too melty, so I'd recommend working quickly here. Then just wrap each individual sandwich in a piece of plastic wrap and store it in the freezer for, well, pretty much as long as you want. And that is your ice cream sando. These look so beautifully delicious in the most tack-sharp rectangular way I can imagine. Plus, this recipe makes a ton of sandos, so they should last you a good while, unless you're my girlfriend and you ate all of them before I got to have one. Thank you for that, by the way.
Okay, so we have a wrapped filler. That looks like a goddamn ice cream sandwich. Now, how do we do that? Well, through time, patience, effort, love, trust, peace, serenity, sweetness, heart, power, strength, a little bit of stinkiness. The first thing you smell is the cookie. It's more like a brownie rather than the traditional one that you would see, the one with the holes. I think this is really just a brownie ice cream sandwich. And I'm not complaining about that, not one bit. My intention when I made this cookie base was for it to be more like that chocolate base that you see everywhere. You know, we've seen it in stores, it's in a little wrapper, you peel it out. But instead, what you get is this rich chocolate, nearly brownie, like it's got that caramelization. It's a ba ba ba, ra da da. Long story short, this is already better, but texturally, I do wish this was softer. So if you let these sit a little longer, this crusty outside will get nice and soft and flexible and pliable, just like you know, but with a brownie flavor. It's intensified. There's real intentional flavor, and you can control whatever ice cream you could ever want.
Okay, next is our famous chocolate chip cookies in the form of, well, an ice cream sandwich. Look, this is pretty straight up. To make the cookies, start by melting 3/4 of a cup or 168 grams of unsalted butter until completely, melted, obviously. Then in a bowl or a stand mixer, combine 3/4 of a cup or 161 grams of packed light brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup or 150 grams of granulated white sugar, pop on the whiskey business attachment, or obviously a regular whisk should you not have a stand mixer. Also, we gave away stand mixers on the Discord, so if you're not a part of the Discord, the link's in the bio. Papa Keys. Anyway, whisk that together, and while whisking, stream in all of your melted butter. Follow that up with 1.5 teaspoons or 9 grams of sea salt. Mix until thoroughly combined. Then add in 1 whole large egg, followed by 1 egg yolk. Whisk that nice and vigorously to emulsify it into sort of a creamy texture. Switch your attachment to the paddle or a spoon, then add in 1.25 cup or 197 grams of all-purpose flour. Mix gently until combined into a loose dough, then fold in with a spatula 8 ounces or 225 grams of about 60 to 70% cacao dark chocolate that's been very roughly chopped. Yes, it's a lot because Papa like a lot. Anyway, cover that bad boy, refrigerate for at least 1 hour or overnight, then using an ice cream scoop, scoop out as many balls as you can on a parchment-lined baking sheet, and obviously you can go with a smaller scoop. Don't try and be smart in the comments and say, oh, what if I want smaller cookies, Josh? Well, by using basic spatial analytical skills, you'll see in fact that a smaller cookie scoop will make smaller cookies. Okay, maybe Papa being a little bit of a grouchy little pants man. Anyway, if they are large cookies, pop them into an oven set to 350 Fahrenheit and bake for 15 to 17 minutes, intentionally picking the pan up and dropping it every 4 to 5 minutes. This is also known as the pan bang method. Makes them a little more dense. Then once done, pull your cookies out, really take in their natural beauty, the curvature of their almost rolling mountainous chocolatey surface. Maybe even add a little twinkle of flaky salt on top. Now that is a properly luxurious chocolate chip cookie. The next step is ridiculously simple. Stack on some scoops of ice cream. This is so unnecessarily large that we needed multiple scoops, but if it was properly sized, then it would be only 1 scoop. Now, as they say, let us put this in our mouth.
Okay, so we didn't have to make it this big, but for some reason I chose ice cream scoop for this size. I do like a giant cookie, and I didn't really think, well, wait a minute, Josh, you're making ice cream sandwiches. In this episode of Josh Doesn't Think Things Through, here's a very large ice cream sandwich. If you want it smaller, do I really need to explain it? Use a smaller scoop. It's math. Is it math? This could be either the worst cross-section or the greatest cross-section of all time. That shit bussin'. Okay, these are too big. If this was the correct size, this would be the greatest chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich that has ever existed in mankind, period. This is bussin' respectfully. And this puts an end to our ice cream sandwich guide. Look, at the end of the day, we made the traditional one, we made a fantastic chocolate chip cookie one, but you could use any cookie you want, you could use any ice cream you want. We've given you the bare necessities that you need in order to make the greatest. So go on and do the darn thing, brother, and don't you turn back.
You want to know what else is full of drippy chili cream filled cookies? B-roll.
Alright guys, and that is it. So we made our ice cream sandwiches. They came out beautifully, and let's quickly talk about the rectangular ones. First off, that turned out way better than I could have possibly imagined. I had no idea that it was gonna come out so geometrically perfect. I mean, they really look good. And not only that, but it makes a lot of them. If it's not proof enough for me to say that it's good, all I have to do is say that Kate has already eaten all of those ice cream sandwiches. I mean, literally all of them by herself. That's safe to say that they are very good. And then the chocolate chip cookie ones, I mean, that was like this egregious, gigantic version that I wanted to make, but it just proves the point that putting ice cream in between two cookies can just never be wrong, ever. And so, with all that said, if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. I forgot to breathe several times while speaking. Goodbye.